So we're here putting on our first Ironman 70.3 in 2020. The staff's here, the tents are going up, we're getting ready for the race this weekend, and everybody's excited to be back racing on Sunday.
Bike check-in.
Each of the communities that we race in are significant to us, and we want to make sure that we're doing it safely for them and invited by the community.
So tomorrow, Saturday, registration will start at 8 a.m. As soon as they arrive, they're going to see the whole thing's going to look different. So athletes and volunteers are going to have one entrance, and the public and or spectators are going to have another entrance to come into the expo area, which is going to be secure. And they're all going to have to be wearing masks when they show up. You're not going to be able to enter this area without a face covering. And if you don't have one, we'll have some on hand.
Being able to be around people and who also share, you know, the passion and joy for triathlons, just incredible. You know, it's a little different now. We got to get used to the new norm, but and hopefully we get it right here, and all the rest of the races can go off as planned.
So far, the process with the safe return back to racing here has been amazing. Super simple, super easy.
I'm really impressed with how well it's run, how organized it is, and I knew that Ironman would do a great job. So I was taking pictures of the stations, and so I can send to all my friends, be like, this is really happening, we're back.
Everybody has been following all the protocols, social distancing, hand sanitizer, like just really keeping stuff separated and, you know, trying to keep people healthy. So, yeah, kudos.
One of the big differences for the athletes who have been accustomed to just showing up whenever they want within registration hours, during the registration process, they had to choose a very specific time when they would come and pick up their race packet and their t-shirt and their backpack and all that stuff. So they're going to be coming at a rate of about 80 per hour, which for us is a very tame rate.
The Ironman energy is what makes these races worth doing. And with the safe return to racing protocols, this was the easiest check-in process I've ever been in, the least crowded, the least stressful. So that was great. And I thank you so much for making it possible for us to get out and do what we love.
You can tell safety first. Everyone's wearing masks, everyone's distancing. So I think everything's great. And here to have fun tomorrow. So thanks again.
Everyone is concerned about the same thing. When you think of an event, you think of the crowds, you think of people all arriving at the same time, you think of the spectators. Well, we're controlling for all of that. So race day, when the athletes arrive, they've already checked in their bike. So we're just going to make sure that they have their face coverings on. Again, we'll have disposable face coverings for anyone who doesn't have one. And they'll have to wear that throughout the whole morning when they're getting their stuff prepped, setting up their transition area, pumping their tires. We have gloves. So they'll have to put on gloves to use a pump, then they'll dispose of those gloves, and then the next person can safely use that pump. We're thinking of everything from decreasing density. You'll notice on our bike racks, there are 4 per rack, whereas normally there's as much as 10 per rack. So everything's getting spaced out. Athletes are pretty much handling everything themselves. They're going to deal with their bike. They're going to deal with putting on their stuff. They're going to put on their own sunscreen before they come. We're not having touch points between volunteers or staff and the athletes themselves.
I'm feeling super excited, a little nervous, first race of the year, but super blessed to be here.
Excited about being on the first race of the U.S. I'm impressed with the level of spacing that they have for everybody and keeping the safety in mind for all of the athletes and volunteers.
I'm just so thankful to be here and have the opportunity to race. Honestly, it's a privilege and I'm really thankful. Have fun, stay safe.
A little bit of nervousness, anxious to get started. It's good to be back among fellow athletes and being outside. I'm very grateful to be here this morning.
Since it's really my first one, just simply finish. I know it's going to be hot, so I really have to pace myself on the run. Ironman has done a really good job spacing everything out, social distancing, all the sanitation everywhere.
I'm thankful for Ironman to be putting this on. This is incredible to see everybody out here today. It's truly a humbling and honoring experience. We're ready to go.
Well, recently, my brother just passed away from an overdose, so I'm just thinking about him. He was a Marine. So yeah, this race is for him for sure. I got his picture right here. I got his dog tags on me, so.
Oh man,
yeah.
that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's an emotional race for sure.
When they head over to the swim start, and this is probably where a lot of people mentally are thinking, how are they gonna stage people before that swim and keep them distant? On their way over there, there's going to be a checkpoint, and only athletes or staff or volunteers are going to be allowed in that checkpoint, and they will all have to be wearing face coverings. They'll start to see ahead of them signs for their predicted swim time. The athletes have staging corrals over by the swim start, and then that final pre-staging swim chute. The swim chute itself holds about 130 people, and then the other corrals hold about 100 each, and that is all safely distanced at 6 feet. So folks just find their spot on the ground that keeps them socially distanced, and they wait. Gun goes off at 6:20, and we're going to be putting one person every 5 seconds into the water.
Moment's super important for me. For a lot of us athletes who have taken the time to believe in fitness and really push ourselves to the limits, being able to come together as a community and have the opportunity to make this moment our moment, kind of take our lives back, this is super important.
So the COVID protocols for aid stations, as you can imagine, we talked about athlete self-sufficiency. So athletes are going to be responsible to do a little bit more of the work. Out on the bike course, we will be handing up bottles. So volunteers with gloves and face coverings are going to be handing up bottles to the athletes as they go by. We aren't going to cut bars. We aren't going to cut bananas, for example. You will get the whole product so that it is sealed and it's sterile, essentially. On the run course, it's going to be a little bit different, a lot more self-sufficient. The volunteers are there simply to stock the tables. The athletes are going to have to go to the table and pick up the cup or pick up the whole banana or whatever the product is and deal with that themselves. So we're trying to really create that separation. The tables will be spaced farther apart, the athletes will be farther apart, and everybody in terms of the volunteer side or staff side will be wearing face coverings, and if they're handling anything, will be wearing gloves.
From Palo Alto, California, 29 years old. First male finisher today. And she's the first woman to the finish line. Brianna Troska.
At the finish line, everything's a lot more spaced out in that finish chute. They're going to serve themselves. They're going to get their own medal. They're going to get a bottle of water. Before they leave that finish chute, they will have to have a face covering on. So they should have caught their breath, sort of got themselves together, and then they'll have to have that face covering when they leave the finish chute.
The feeling of finishing, passing that finish line is just an amazing feeling. Ironman does a great job with the organization. Just everything was on point.
What got you to the finish line today?
Knowing that they were waiting for me, and I have no excuses. I gotta finish. I can't quit.
I mean, I think the safety protocols were well executed. I think they did a really good job. Everyone's professional about it, volunteers and the athletes. And I think that in the world that we're living in right now, I think this is a way that we can still race safely and enjoy the sport that we all love.
It was great. I thought the course was great. The support was amazing. There were so many volunteers out there. It was awesome.
Huge thanks to Ironman for making this a really, really safe event. It's made the year a little bit better.
You guys did an incredible job out there. I mean, everybody was spaced out, felt safe the entire time. It was really good. Yeah, bang up job for sure.
I was so impressed. I work in public health, and I was so impressed that everyone really kept their mask on and listened to the rules and protocols for safety. The motto, anything is possible, completely true. I went from running nothing to running half marathon and a sprint, and then a half Ironman the next year, and it has changed my life. So if you want to do it, if you feel good about it, you can do it.